Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to this flower painting tutorial. I painted this painting from this photo, and I was actually planning to go a little bit, maybe a little bit more photorealistic. First I thought I was going to go very rough, and then I kind of couldn't really decide which one it was. But it came out pretty nice. I could have had some more time on it because I'm gonna deliver to an exhibition today actually. So if not, I would probably have worked a little bit more, but I think it came out pretty nice anyway. Now it's a mess here now in my studio, as you can see. Just crazy. And when I'm painting, it's always messy. So with this, I hope you can give the video thumbs up, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Also, if you like to support me, go do that by going to Patreon, sign up for $1 or 15 or whatever, and I will teach you how to paint. And if you just want to support me, buy me a coffee. Any amount is great. You find all the links in the description, and I hope to see you in my next video. And here we have it. I am going to paint these sunflowers on this canvas that is 30.30 centimeters square. As you can see, I have toned it a little bit darker this time. I actually used Van Dyke brown instead of raw umber, also from Old Holland. It's basically because this painting, or this photo, which I took a while ago now, has a lot of Van Dyke in it, if you see the background and everything. So I just felt it kind of was appropriate to do that. Yeah. So now you can also, while I paint, I'm going to keep the reference photo in here. So watch me paint. So here we are. That's good, I guess. I'm going to start out by just touching up, and as I will always start here. I think there's a little vase here. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, approximately 3. And it's like, yeah, so I can actually just drag it over. That's the good thing when I can hang it beside this. I can just drag, and it's approximately here and approximately here, and there's that light. I like the colors in this because it's quite muffled. It's very different to actually paint from photo, because first of all it is actually less confusing, and there's a reason for that, of course. 1, 2, no, it's a smaller. It is smaller, like this actually, probably. And I painted it a little bit. No, I was actually telling my girlfriend when she started on roses that you shouldn't start with a vase, but I think I know, but she did. She is kind of a contrarian. She starts often in the, it's like if she was going to paint a portrait, she would start with the feet. That's just joking, probably wouldn't, but it's kind of, sometimes she does the opposite of, you know, it's like people who starts eating a banana from the middle, or up here from the middle. I said, what? And then start in the middle. Instead of taking off the thing and eating it like this, or yeah, for a bottom maybe. I don't know. So yeah. Now I think this is a little bit to this side, but I don't know actually how much. 1, 2, and 3. That's correct. Then I say 1, 2, and basically 3. So it is actually in the middle. The problem is that I stand kind of like this, and then it kind of twists. So that is a little problem when you hang it beside. You have to be very conscious of moving your head like this and picking up, going back and forth. Not always stand like this, because you will be confused of the perspective. That is why it can also be, when you have got this in, maybe have it hanging there. So I see it there and there. So I have a different type of, or print one more and hang it there. So I get this dialogue, better dialogue. Let me see, 1, 2, and 3, that was more like it. 1, 2, and no. So it has to be on here. And over here. I mean, am I actually going to start screwing it up all the way from the start? I have to be more careful when I sketch, and so do you. You have to start, kind of, don't think that, well, you can solve everything that fast, because it can actually cost you quite dearly if you do a lot of mistakes. Take a lot of extra time and effort, so try to get it right the first time. I read this a little bit smaller, I can see, than it actually is. Like this. Yes. Yeah. And I also have the mirror, so since it's smaller, it's kind of easier to control it and see in the mirror. That's a good thing. Over here, it's actually darker, but so not that color. We need some more green. Yeah, like this, maybe. Well, I will start just to put in points of where I think the roses are. There is one up here, this one, and you have this one that goes like out here, bigger one. It reminds me of the plant in what's that movie again? Little Shop of Horror. It's kind of a musical, but it's quite funny. It's not. It kind of crashes down in the end because they are overdoing it, but it was quite cool. Yes. It's like a dance, you know. Painting is dancing. Like this. I'm just marking and stuff, you know, trying to get familiar with a motif here. Like this, and the biggest flower here. Yeah, like this. Approximately. Now I'm just gonna start moving things around, trying to get it to the right point. Yeah. God, I'm thirsty. been exercising a lot and I haven't been drinking enough water. So I drink a lot of coffee. It's very typical me. If I get very thirsty, I actually think I'm needing coffee, so I start drinking coffee instead. That can actually be a problem. So I should get myself some water with citron. Wasser with citron will be very good for me. Yeah. This, like this, like this. Yes. I'm started to drift off into my space, thinking about other things, forgetting you were there, as I sometimes do. So it's fun. I like painting glass actually because it's it's very nice when you see all the shine, and yeah. Now the gravity puts this longer out here. Yeah, there, and there. Because there's a lot of gravity, I have to balance it because this is actually a little bit too long, but this one is kind of balancing it because of the shadow, so you get this almost triangulation between this one who is too much on, and you know, it's, yeah. And then we have this one who actually dragged this one, and you have this one. So you get a composition here which is actually quite, it's on the edge. I will say it's on the edge of what is a good composition, but I think it, yeah, I think it works. So put some more green. Now I'm actually mixing now more. Now because I'm mixing the blue and the green. So yeah. It's a long time since I actually painted something like this now. There's one video on my YouTube channel where I painted flowers from all the way from the start. I picked them during the night, and I came home and I painted them in one go, basically one go, 8 hours, or 10 hours or something. I just painted and painted and painted. It was so inspiring. It was like just a frenzy of painting. It's beautiful, beautiful. But I was actually from Natura. This is my photo. And of course these flowers died very fast. I'm also going to paint some very cool apple thing, which I also photographed. So yeah. We are both going to an exhibition, collective exhibition in Karmøy, Haugesund. The Lions Club. It's kind of a, what is it? Lions is kind of a, not a Freemason, but kind of a man's club who's doing charity work. And they have this yearly exhibition. I'm also going to get an interview in a newspaper. Now the funny thing now is that, of course, it's not that dark, but it's dark enough for me to just add in some more Van Dyke with some blue black and kind of create. Van Dyke is a reddish bluish tone, and I really like it. This is something with, it's like the Prussian blue also, but you have to learn how to use it. If not, you're going to be really, it's going to be difficult to control them. But I have to say I really love that one. I always use the same palette, you know. It goes from, you have the raw umber, you have the raw umber, you have burnt umber, you have Van Dyke, you have the Alsarin, you have vermilion, you have cadmium orange, cadmium yellow dark, and cadmium yellow, and yellow, kind of the primary yellow. And then I have some broken colors, some whites, which is more broken, and I have my French ultramarine, the cobalt, and there is the Prussian blue, and I had here also the ivory black, but this is the blue black that I usually use. So yeah, so it's the same palette all the time. I do sometimes add in burnt sienna and raw sienna. I always wonder if I'm going to try using the what's it called again? Ochre. Yeah, the ochre. Is it ochre? Yeah, ochre. It's never been my thing actually, ochre, but Maybe I should try to add it in. And of course I have my titanium whites, which is very important to me. So, yeah, this is just to get things in to the painting, so I'll be able to see. And then I just move things around until things start to fall into place. And that is how I like to do it. Van Dyke. It's very Van Dyke right here. And Van Dyke here. And there's also a flower behind there, and the one in the middle. Yeah. I like this photo. See. 18 minutes. Soon 20. Maybe I should take a break because I need to drink some water. I really need to drink some water. I'm so dehydrated. I can't almost concentrate. That is how dehydrated I am. I was training a little bit of taekwondo and strength and boxing and stuff today, and I didn't drink enough, so now I'm just actually I have a headache and I can feel that my body is screaming to get some water into it. Okay, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. This one is further out here, higher. Where is it? I don't know. I figured it out. Yes, 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 yes. So here we are again. I just had to crash last night. I didn't get more done because I was actually quite exhausted, and yeah, so I'll just pick it up today again, and let's see if I can finish this sketch tonight. Just pick up where I left and try to do it more. Yes, flowers. I will just put in approximately, get things in, and then I can just shape it later. Actually I went, it's a little bit more yellow there. Yeah, this one. If you wanna, I could actually think a little bit like what's this guy's name again? Van Gogh. But he used. I saw Van Gogh's paintings. Was it in France? No, it was in England, I think. No, it was in New York. And he has this. One thing with those photographs, now those paintings, you can't possibly photograph them. It is impossible. You can forget about it. It's they are so painted that a camera aren't able to pick it up. You have to see them live because they aren't motifs in the sense. They are more like, as I say, like sculptures, like Rembrandt, just gone wild. And the way he is using the brush is just wow. It is so subjective. It is such a heartfelt approach. At the same time, you feel like it's kind of childish and naive in a way, but so real that it becomes pure beauty. And there too, as I said, if you're a painter and you aren't able to understand the value of brushwork, you're really missing out on basically everything. Because that is, as I said many times, what art is about. That is why, who cares if AI could actually basically paint paintings at some point? An AI robot who is programmed or just have an algorithm that makes it able to repeat the things that we gave it as a potential perfectly, it wouldn't make it great art. What actually maybe be great art is actually being able to make this being in the first place. The technique and all the science that goes into creating AI is in itself art. It's beautiful, and it can help us in so many ways in the future, with age-related disease, with basically everything, and especially in medicine, they will able to diagnose more correctly, earlier, and all kinds of stuff. So we are kind of making ourselves quite obsolete. But then again, there is that dimension of consciousness that I can't really see that AI will be able to evolve. Now maybe that should actually be a standalone video about AI, because it is. I made a video earlier on my YouTube channel about digital art. I think that is just. I mean, why do you make the digital art? What is the point of making digital art? You have the computer basically repeating an algorithm or repeating a program that they have thought to kind of mimic brushwork and stuff like that. I don't understand what the point is. What is the point of that? Because you have, and they call it painting. They call it digital painting. Digital art. You know, painting is with a brush, okay, on a canvas with real paint. It isn't a program mimicking painting. Even if you could make, and they probably will, why not? If you could actually, if you want an amazing Rembrandt or an amazing painting on your wall, you will give an AI robot the task of making it, and of course it will do that in a heartbeat. It wouldn't, of course it couldn't finish a good oil painting in one go, because you need all the glazes, you need all the, but all of these things I think you could actually over time basically feed into this AI, or this AI could, you don't feed into an AI, but just start it up with a potential, and then kind of evolves basically by itself, if I understood it right. Of course you have a program in the beginning, but you know what I mean. It's I don't know, okay, I should actually set myself in a little bit better into how AI actually make their stuff, but or how they make AI. But as I see, it is a self-correcting, self-learning system. And of course, how much do you need to learn until you become conscious? Now, there's a problem with consciousness, because consciousness in human beings, we tend to believe that we are also goddamn conscious. But I will be so arrogant that to say that most people don't even comprehend their own existence in any deeper way. So in many ways, most people aren't really conscious. And you see that in their willingness to follow leaders to the death, like in the Russian soldiers, or the Russians follows Putin down. You see how people tend to follow leaders, like in Germany, and through all history we have followed leaders, and very conscious people with a very strong sense of self, a very strong self of deep subjective introspection, wouldn't actually follow leaders. It is like George Carlin say, they say, oh, if you don't vote, you have nothing to say. Now, that is basically nonsense, because that is my choice not to vote. And as he said, what if you vote in some lying, thieving bastards? Well, then you are to blame for that too, like in Nazi Germany, when they basically voted in Adolf Hitler, and everything turned to shit. As the last Kaiser said when they were clapping for Hitler, listen to them, they are clapping their freedom away, or clapping away their democracy. Okay, so they destroyed democracy or their freedom to follow this mad leader into the abyss. And as I say, even if Hitler had won the war, it would have been abyss. If he did, you can say, if he didn't start the war, maybe we would be communist today and under Russia. So there was maybe a silver lining to Hitler starting that war, because it was maybe a necessary war against communism. But that would never be, we could never say that all the things they did was right. The killing of the civilians, the Jews, and the slaughter of the innocent, which is so horrific, but also so common. Just look to Genghis Khan and his murderous things. Look to Alexander the so-called Great, or Napoleon, or any of these people. Who made it possible for them to do these things? The masses, okay? The masses that are willing to walk against cannons and be cannon fodder. You see the same thing in Russia now. Okay, many of the Russian soldiers are forced to do this, and they are getting shot if they pull back by some Chechen special forces and stuff like that. So you can say, well, are they of their own free will? Probably not, but some are. Some are actually willing to die for this bullshit. Now, that was a rant, but my point is that to become a conscious person, and AI, a conscious, really conscious being, made that doesn't have any faults, because my hypothesis is that our consciousness, of course, comes from the brain. There's no doubt about that. That I think anyone could agree. Oh, we don't know how the brain works. Yeah, we know so much about the brain that we can actually do brain surgery, and we can cut out parts if it's cancer or something, and people can still survive. and function very well after that. And if we didn't know how the brain worked, we wouldn't be able to do this, okay? So we know a lot about the brain. We know a lot about the different places in the brain who creates the different senses, and also which parts actually is new that gives us this sense of consciousness, at least for some of us. But most people aren't that conscious. And just think about how an AI actually would be. He wouldn't have the mistakes that we have. So the question is, what happens when the AI falls in love or is heartbroken? What happens then? Because you know that being in love is oxytocin, it is dopamine, a lot of dopamine, it is sex hormones, it is evolution, it is a mix between what any animal do, when they want to procreate. And being in love is just basically being very, very sexually drawn to one specific being. So if AI ever got consciousness and could feel love, which you have to. I mean, if you can't feel love, you would be like a computer. You wouldn't really... Basically, the psychopath often is described as this. He's more like a computer. He doesn't really feel love. He doesn't feel any connection. But they still have the capability of feeling need, feeling the dopamine rush. So what if you have a psychopathic computer in love that derived pleasure? Because if you're conscious, you're probably going to have some place to derive pleasure from. And for this computer or program or whatever, where would they get it from? How could... there's so many problems with this. But even if they didn't become conscious, just look conscious, and they created paintings like this and could make it over weeks and months to let it dry and tear it down and build it up, and you got this basically super Turner painting, but that looked like it because it had been made through the same processes that a human being would do. Basically touch, 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 and time to create all these nice textures. Because if you have a computer that only basically made one layer, it would be like Bob Ross. It would be Bob Ross paintings. And that would be very easy to get a computer to create Bob Ross paintings. But it will be very hard to make it be able to create Rembrandt painting or Vermeer painting or stuff like that, because they are built in such a way. And the same thing with Van Gogh. How could a computer add in this amount of subjectivity, this naive love and this extreme directness into the artwork, So if it's only a program, and if it is only a program who doesn't actually feel anything, just follows the program, would that actually be art at all? Wouldn't just that be... So yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, but think it started with me paintings. Yeah, digression. So my view about AI is that it will probably, because they don't have the same chaos, they won't have the same chaos. I think consciousness is something that comes from all the different things combined, so there is more like an orchestra that at some point plays so much music in your head between all the neurons that something like consciousness is slowly turned on as we get deeper, both emotionally and intellectually. I do not think yogis and these people are that conscious, because they are people who are wasting their whole lives sitting in a lotus position, chanting to some non-existent spirits or something. They may look very, they may look very conscious, but I don't think they are, because they have been trapped by this almost narcissistic view on life, that they are kind of special, or they have this connection with something, that other people don't. And, I think freedom and consciousness comes from basically deep, and also brushwork and artistic honesty comes from this deep sense of self and being able to be self-critical, and even as a human being that has had his brain, I would say that my brain is actually turned on, that I'm quite conscious. But even having that turned on now, it is still hard to get it right. So what happens if a supercomputer becomes conscious? What happens then? How will he deal with falling in love? How will he, or it will be it, because there won't even be a sex. So the drive towards, much of our drive to fall in love is procreation. And a computer doesn't have that. So there are so many problems with AI that it's just crazy, and I think it's dangerous. They say that about 3 to 5% of the population is psychopaths. And there's probably an evolutionary reason for that. Maybe it was useful in the Stone Age, or when we lived in hunter-gatherer communities, to have some fearless, crazed people who could do things that others didn't dare. But what if computers turned psychopathic? That a certain amount of computers or AI would independently evolve psychopathy. And they have, even if they have evolved quantum computers who can actually calculate and so much data that they could break into any place with any, and break any password and do that. So where are we heading? You know, it's some Elon Musk said that we should actually stop for a while and reassess and see, maybe we should slow down, you know. But you know, you can't, because then China won't slow down, and then we just keep on going, and in the end we will do it anyway. So yeah. No, I know this was a rant. It wasn't really about painting. I hope you get something out of my painting. When I do, you see I'm sketching quite loosely, and I just add more and more. It's a little bit too big. See, yes, that was 23 minutes. Well, that was a little bit about AI. I'm going to take a little break, have some water and some coffee. Okay, here we are again, and again, and again. So, I'm going to try to get in some more details here. Maybe take a look in my mirror, so let's look if I have done some really huge mistakes, which of course I have. I think that thing should be smaller, this one. So I just need to get that right, and it's probably going to be approximately up here somewhere. And thinner, like this. Yeah, but as long as I get it kind of, that's, as I said all the time, it's the good thing about sketching. All paint is that you can just keep on adding more. Yes. There's a lot of, when I mix, actually I mix Alzarin and the Kraplak, I think it becomes very nice, reddish. When you mix together the French ultramarine and Kraplak, it becomes a very nice bluish color. So you can just go back and forth like that. I think it's great. So, and with these deep colors you also need to use less black to push it down. When I was a young artist, I had this idea that I didn't want to use any black, and in some way it was a good thing, because I need to teach myself how to kind of make the darkest things without that help, because it makes, if you use black, it makes of course things a little bit easier. But the problem is, as I said in other videos too, to use the black you have to know how, because most people, amateurs or people who doesn't, it's not, you know, amateur doesn't really mean that you can't paint, of course, it's just that you don't live of it. So there's nothing wrong with that, but they usually use too much black, so the surfaces die under that pressure, the pressure of the black. So yeah, that is why you should be careful with black. It is, I know it's right, I said before, of course, like everything else I say. Rembrandt usually only used pure black in the depth of the eye, because if he didn't use that color, black, actually black is actually color, but you know what I mean, if he used the black paint and he used the pure black only in the eyes, that would probably increase that effect, because you wouldn't have that kind of darkness anywhere else. So, but you have to use, it's like white, you can't just pour in white and think that you're going to get more light, because that is not how it works. Sad to say, that's the goddamn truth, and that's how it is. That's how it is. Praise the Lord. I don't believe in any lords, actually. So, and there's very subtle shines, and you see the shines goes down like this, in like this, and there's a lot of stuff happening in this painting. It's very enjoyable. Yes. And when I go into that depth, when I go into this, I call it my silence. You must be funny for you to observe me when I just disappear, because that is what I do. I basically disappear when I forget that you're there. I try to talk, but maybe it's a good thing when I just go away like that, and you just watch what I do without me. You see, I grab it all the time. I just make choices, then I adjust my choices. And it's, as I said, it's all the different choices, the touches, that brings out the painting. And yeah, well, this shouldn't be that far out. Maybe I made it a little bit too big. That doesn't matter, I just slim it in. Yeah, I did. I almost cheated. I almost repaired the composition a little bit intuitively. Yeah, I did. I made it a little bit too big. It's funny actually to think about that process, because where does it actually come from? Where does these things come from? You know, how you just look at something and just keep banging on, you know. Okay. So sorry, I just forget. Maybe I should have a voiceover. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take my absolute best. Some of my best paintings has these documentaries over as as the sound and back. So you know that the girl with the red rose and Haley with children, Samuel Steinman, and a couple of other of my paintings that I have video of. I think I should actually, it's time for me to do them again with a voiceover, so it becomes more about painting, not just flows. So I might get a little bit more views that way. At least that is what I hope. But I see immediately when YouTube actually put my videos out into the algorithm, they actually do start to blow up a little bit. So it also, of course, comes down to what YouTube is willing to do for me, because my videos are not it's not like the channels I watch from the Ukraine war and stuff. They're making videos every day of what's happening, and of course these videos has no news. There's nothing kind of, they don't have any shelf life. But my videos can be watched basically as long as people bother to paint. And if I at some point for some reason should be interesting enough for for art history. I might be a good thing that they can actually listen to what I say and have a more direct connection with the original material. You never know. I don't see why, but that is why I just do my thing. I need to make it into such a big deal. See, I've done so many strange choices in the beginning here. Now, yeah, it's getting better. This one too is not that far down. And that one is very heavy. And there's, yeah. Now I'm starting to get more overview. Starting to see more different distances. Like this, there's the distance from there. Now this is also higher up, so it's quite hard to know. See what I mean? Here I actually start to empathize a little bit with Van Gogh and Impressionists, because they touch, see, they touch, they grab more color, touch again, and repeat. See, yes, like that, and like yes. So some lights here and here, there, there. This and down here and there. That starts to happen something here, huh? Yay! I start to kind of. You see, it's basically, if this was clay, I would be a sculptor right now. Sculpture. See, I just move things around. And that what happens also when I do it this way, is that colors mix into one another naturally. Okay? You see here, I moved this, and now the color there was mixed in. So And that is how I basically mix the colors on the canvas. I love this clay-like texture of the old hull. So nice to work with. So kudos to old hull, I have to say. I'm so glad I'm living now, because thinking about how it would be to having to make your own colors all the time. They're really expensive also, you know. Crazy expensive. That wouldn't be any fun. See now? Well, that was wrong. Ha! That was wrong. I was going to do that here. Like this. So I have to go back in with the Van Dyke. Then I take Van Dyke, take Alzarine and French Ultramarine, and I just remove it again. Now this way I get so much natural texture for free, and it's amazing. So yeah, let's see here. I see that these, no, it's still painted. It's a little bit too big. I need to look in the mirror again. Okay. Yeah, well, it isn't that bad actually. Yeah, it seems like I'm on the right track. Yeah, I would say I'm on the right track. Oh, that's good. Yeah. And this flower here. Now, you can see it's getting a lot of color into the canvas now, so the colors are starting to kind of mix together. So it's, of course, it's very limited to how clear I can get this now, all the points of light and stuff, because it is kind of dirtied up after I move things around and stuff. But it doesn't matter, it just dries, and then I get a fresh start every time. This one is actually, this one is more that way, like this. Yeah, well, this one, and there's also one flower in between there. There's one there. There's a leaf on top of here, down like this. There's some leaf here, some leaves behind. This one has to move. I don't know. Maybe it's this one that needs to move that way. Yeah, I think that is more like it. This one has to move more like, yeah. The thing with sketching like this is that you can actually, you can feel your brain working. And it's a very good feeling. I love that feeling. I remember that from art school, and also through thinking, when you can basically feel there's something happening in your brain. It's almost like your brain is just fighting a battle to understand and to repeat and to get it right. And it's amazing how humans have evolved into this thing that can find pleasure in repeating reality, painting reality. How absurd is that we are apes? We evolved to a level where we actually find pleasure in describing the world around us, something that no other animal do. Because you need a deep introspection and a thumb probably to do it, and a big brain, of course. Don't underestimate big brains. Yeah, I think this is going to be more over there, this one over there. Yeah. But, let's see what time it is. Yeah, now 24 minutes. So we'll stop now and take a little break. Okay, it's quite taxing actually to do. So, yes, here we are with some brushwork again with Amalie on a Friday night in Oslo, Norway. So what do you think about the sketch? Absolutely nothing. English, please.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. So, do you have any questions for me about sketching? Or something you wonder about? How do you sketch? How do you, when you start? How do you start?
I start with the feet and then
Yeah,
move
yeah,
up.
yeah. Didn't I say that in that video? Yeah.
Because if I were to paint this picture, I would probably start with the glass and then move up.
And I actually did.
Yeah.
And I said that in this the beginning because I kind of, it felt right to start with actually the glass here, and I was thinking, but then I did put this in, and then I just jumped up kind of like this, and I tried to go like this, but I actually started here. And there's a reason here, because it's in the middle. So maybe that was actually right to do in that thing you paint. You see, it's like I was talking here about. Have you seen any of Theo Van Gogh, not Theo, Vincent Van Gogh. Have you seen Vincent Van Gogh paintings live?
I don't think so, no.
No, because it's impossible to see them. You can't photograph them.
No,
it's impossible because they are so physical, and the colors are put up. If you study how he has painted, it's almost like you won't even believe it, because it's like he has been just he has been totally manic, but also managed to keep it clean, and so they have addressed one another and everything. And if you want to learn brush strokes, not necessarily work, but brush strokes, he is perfect. But you have to see them alive. I was shocked when I saw them alive, because they are alive. And you can't possibly... I've actually heard some of the same things about my paintings. People who say, oh, they're much better when they see them live than on photo. When it comes to Odd Nerdrum and his students, I always think that the paintings looks better on photo. And I think it's because the photo adds in the colors that I miss. Because when you take a photograph, when I take a photograph of one of my paintings, I tend to lose colors because I use so thick color, I use so much color. So I tend to lose color, or they seem a little bit more poisonous or giftig. What would the translation be? A little bit over the top, like they are too much color. So when I try to photograph it, it kind of increases that kind of unbalance in my paintings, because I use a lot of color and maybe too much color, actually, if there is such a thing. But Ordinator, he uses the colors so scarce that when you see them in reality, that's how I saw it, you know. When I saw them in reality, I was actually disappointed because they didn't have that colors that they had on the photo. And that is because if you're taking with a digital camera, the camera will interpret. So it interprets the. What do you think? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I agree. Your paintings looks much better in real life.
Yeah. It's weird. It's so fun to do this. It's almost like the brain is kind of playing music in a way. It's crazy. So how do you feel when you paint? You long pauses. You don't fucking know. And you have to paint in directions. This one is probably going to be a little bit, it feels like it's going to be a little bit, but then it's not true, because maybe this is wrong, or maybe it's going, yeah, I think this is one that's going to be broader actually. So you see that? And this is the way I mix colors into one another, you see that? I just drag it in, and then you get colors into it, like mixing on the surface. But you have to be careful, because if you do it too many times, you can't really get it to become bright again, and you just have to, like, yeah. See it? Is it fascinating? It's so funny, when I started out painting, I didn't understand this. I didn't understand why. Actually, I had one teacher in art school. What was his name again? Not Krzysztof Naszulowski, he was a sculptor. Terry Nelson Love. He's a nice guy, actually. More abstract painter. And he told me when I went to art school, oh, you need to get more these brushes to get more texture into your painting. And I said, well, no, I don't want texture in my paintings. I felt everything was going to be flat, and because texture, that was like sloppy work. So I wanted to think, and then after a few years I started to realize that actually texture and brushwork is the painting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any questions? No? Mm-hmm. Do you see anything that is wrong? There's a lot of wrong things.
So,
Huh? So,
is the glass a bit bigger in your painting?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe?
it is. Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. Have to slim it down. Yeah. It's true. Oh. But you know, it's like, I feel in the beginning like this, I just move around clay, you know. And kind of do it the same way, but a little bit more macroscopic, maybe. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to do a little bit like this, don't you?
Like what?
Like
Swirling things?
Yeah.
On the canvas? Or?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw it in your videos. Everybody has to find their own way to do it anyways. Mm. Strip right there. Yes. Oh. So this one is higher up, and I think yeah. You see that? This one is higher up. See that?
Mm.
Or maybe this is actually lower. Yeah, this can possibly be lower actually, so it can be both ways. But it doesn't matter. It's just all the way in the beginning anyway. And as I said in that, you know, you have to try to get things a little bit right, but in the beginning it doesn't have to be totally right. Well, that's not what I've been telling you, is it? But it is oil paint, so you can actually change it. If it was water paint, it would be kind of fucked, you know. That thing. Ah, nej, jag vill lägga. Mm. So what do you think when you see how I do it? Anything you think?
I try to look at the thing you told me about the direction
Yeah.
in your brushwork.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do that. It's actually much darker in there also. And right now I'm kind of just fumbling. I go too fast into detail here now. Should just kind of, now it looks totally wrong. Use the mirror. see that it's a little bit broader, maybe. But you know, it's just, yeah, it's higher, that leaf. Because that leaf goes kind of sånn, sånn, sant? Så den kommer her, ja. It's higher. So look at ChatGPT. It's better to have some questions or some thing to... Yeah. This is not so pretty lighting. So, sketching with color. Many people actually do write on, do this gazelle, because it was called again. Gazelle? Do you know that? Gazelle? Huh? You know when they do one tone?
I'm not sure what it is called.
I think there's a gazelle or kind of one tone sketches. I have no idea why they waste time on that. I think it's a waste of time, because you can actually go straight in with paint. Maybe it made more sense when Rembrandt and these people painted, because the colors were so extremely expensive, and they had to make them themselves. So using oil color like I do, just kind of pouring it on the surface, wouldn't be. That is why I used a lot of fillers, and Rembrandt even used saw and sand and, you know, some wood, what do you call it, wood dust or stuff like that, all sand and all kinds of stuff to make textures, to save paint. And it's smart. It's like doing sometimes I use the gesso to build some textures, and then you have some brushwork from the start. Now I can see that I can't get it white now, because it's, yeah. And I just have to kind of pick up more and more information. And as I told you, just try to just repeat, and move things around, and then in the end you will basically find it'll all come closer and closer to what you want to see. So I don't know, maybe it would be easier to do more slow, very accurate sketches. Maybe I could also try that once, but I don't know. I can't really get vivid color now because it's a mess. So maybe I should just leave it now, but tomorrow. Retouche. I feel like doing all the mistakes that I tell you not to do. Well, I guess that is why one can be actually quite a good teacher, because you tend to do all the mistakes. So. Yeah, it's okay. It's fun. Something like that. And there's a leaf coming here too. Coming out like this. Goes out here. Somewhere. There's some behind here. There's a lot of stuff happening in this actually. So it's gonna be a challenge. It's okay. Kan vi titta om det går på kamera? How much time is it?
1:46 är klockan.
I was thinking about the camera. The camera.
20 minuter, 40 sekunder.
Okay, men hold that. Yeah. I focus better tomorrow. I can just let it kind of be now. Yay. Okay. So. Oops. Yes. Okay, Becky. Very good. So, I'm just going to put in the last brushwork in this sketch. I can see that I kind of messed it up a little bit, but I can just kind of enhance certain parts and then let it dry and then bring it back up again, because it's no use for me to actually overdo it. I have to paint over it anyway. Yeah. Just put in some spots of light. Maybe I should just let it be now. It's always just great to get in the highest parts. It's very bright here, as you can see, and yeah, and there, this one has to be a little bit more, maybe, also you have the shine, so. See now, this one, and this one goes out like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. Well, maybe that is actually me rationalization, that I'm hiding behind my own mediocrity. Of course I can't do that, so I have to do my best. And yeah, that's what I will do. What I should do is actually take a lot of my photos and just do Impressionist paintings and try to actually make them try to do some kind of sketchy like types of paintings, as I say, just for the fun of it. And for the training. Or maybe just think, when I do, I just think, I should do that also now of course, just think like this doesn't have to be finished, I don't have to finish it, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just gonna be me evolving my brushwork, because that is basically what I should spend my time doing. Just if you can, like many of the, like I talked about Van Gogh, which I would say, if you look at his brushwork, amazing brushwork. It's very special. So you can learn to do that. That would be amazing. And you can combine these things with the more classical kind of work. I'm going to do so much nice painting before I go, hopefully. Oh, it would be so boring. So tragic to get cancer now or something and die, because I feel like I really do feel I'm waking up. And after years with hardship and pain and tragedy, I really do start to bounce back, and I just feel the force coming back to me. When you experience a lot of sad stuff and you go into depression and you don't really know that that's what you have, it's so difficult to understand. It's like when I came out of prison, I felt everything was so great, and I had a new girlfriend, and everything seemed so good, and then suddenly you fall apart because you have been in such a high mode of fighting mode for so long that you just fall apart. And I used basically a year to first slowly not being able to focus, and then realizing, wow, I have had some kind of complex PTSD, and now it's fine. It would be so ridiculously lame to suddenly get a lethal cancer diagnosis. But as Marcus Aurelius say, memento mori, remember you're going to die, and it can happen any day, even at any moment. You can be snuffed out of existence, and you don't get to do the things you promised yourself. So the rest of my life now is gonna be about making love and avoiding distraction. And with making love, I mean making love. I mean making love through painting, to thinking, writing, living, seeing, tasting, feeling, and trying to be positive in the light of tragedy. And I know I bang on a lot about that, but I hope I can actually inspire some of you to think positively. If you have some problem, look at your diet, look what you eat. If you are obese, lose the weight, start exercising. It will do miracles with your psyche and your self-esteem. And if you use a lot of money to buy yourself happiness, stop. You don't need it. You need a creative hobby. You need to do something that lifts you up from within. Do that, and I think you're going to have a good life. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just give it a little bit of that. I don't need to do that actually. I'm just gonna keep it like this. The sketch became a little bit sketchy. So I'm just gonna leave it like this now, and yeah, because it's too thick and it's too much color on it, and I can't really put in more. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it dry and do more next time. Yay! Okie dokie dokie. That was only 12 minutes. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should add some more. Go in here. I changed my mind because it was only 12 minutes. I like my segments to be about 20. I think that is a good place to be. Okay. This. quite limited actually to what colors I use here. I should actually clean some of my palettes and just, like, I have a video where I do that actually. I'm cleaning because my palettes, when they become too lumpy and too, it's almost like I kind of lose a little bit of control. And I do like to use these wooden, it's more, it feels more traditional or something, I don't know. There's something with it anyway, so I kind of prefer to use that, yes. And there's also a flower behind there. But it's kind of deep in the dark, so it's hard to see it. But say that you were going to go all in, photorealistic. That would be a different thing here. Would actually be fun to do that also. To do all kinds of types of, have a skill that is more diverse, so I could actually, what would I say, I could do one painting more photorealistic, I can do a different one more impressionist, you know, try to do a lot of different types of technique, just to push my limits, which I think is basically one of the most important things. Kind of pushing myself. It's too low, it's going to be higher. This is the way, you know, I have to do it. I just move stuff around, as I've said before. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff happening here. There's a leaf that goes right over there, down like this. Then that stilk goes behind there. It's actually brighter behind there. There's all these things I will fix as I go along, you know. And yeah. Hard to know. This one is also more out.
Mm-hmm.
See now. Down here. Right there. So, yeah, that's better. See, it's very dissolved and stuff, but I come close, a little bit closer for everything you do. And yeah. Maybe this should be a little bit more out there. The difference here. This one is higher up. I've done some cliches here. It's some symbolic things like this. That should be more higher up there and more out. Yes. And this one, this might be a little bit too thick. Maybe this one is too thin. Hard to know actually. This. Okay, take a little bit of little brush. That would be like here, here, and this one goes a little bit more out like this because I see the distance here. I don't know, maybe I didn't see that right, or maybe I did. Anyway, good enough for now. Okay, see you in the next. So here we are. I'm gonna put on some retouche varnish on this and then glaze a little bit, and then I'm gonna start painting, and hopefully I will bring this to its conclusion in a couple of days. It's going to be a little bit more sketchy and a little bit more rougher than usual, but I think it's going to be fine. So the retouche varnish is from Old Holland, and I do it so I can actually see the nuances better. So with this, yay! Next segment is glaze, and then I will paint. So to the glaze, then I use my French ultramarine and alzarine. You can use any color, bright color you want. I wouldn't recommend mixing more than two colors together, or use them pure and then glaze in other colors. You can create basically watercolory types of textures and Actually, when I was in New York, I saw some small paintings of Vermeer, and I saw that he had basically almost glazed in pure colors on top of kind of underlying other colors. So he did some micro glazing to get all these very nice, subtle very subtle, well, soft. I can't really find the English word, but when you make things disappear into the background, kind of the softness, and you can't really see where the lines disappear. And that is basically what was his greatness. That was what he was known for, also back then. And yeah. So I guess he did something like this, and then he went in with, I can actually show you immediately what I mean. If I now want to kind of what I call micro glaze, I can basically take some yellow, for instance, maybe some white and yellow, but even, and it will now, if I take pure yellow now, and I have had pure lemon, and I go in now and I just do like this and let it mix with the oil that is already on the canvas, I will get very nice, very watercolor-like effects. And that is basically how I think he did it. I can put some white into it too to get it to become a little bit brighter. See now how soft it becomes. And instead of adding in a lot of color now, I'm gonna work slow like this. I decided that right now, to be honest. And I'm gonna try to get some more detail instead of banging on with a lot of thick colors. Just take a little bit more control and slowly work this way. Yeah, that's also smart. I slowly work this way. So maybe I should actually now focus closer so you can actually see more what I do. I want so what happens now is that, and I can also go in and I can increase the brightness by adding a little bit more white, but you have to be careful with the white, because more white doesn't necessarily mean more light, because you can also kind of kill the intensity if you add too much white into the color. So there's many different things like this you have to kind of think about when you do painting. So yeah. And then I can use a different kind of cadmium yellow, which is a little bit more reddish, and create that kind of shadow or deeper color. I also have some cadmium yellow deep, which I can also add, and that will of course make it even deeper. And I can go in with a little bit of blue, and voila, I have a shadow. So yeah, I think I'm gonna work a little bit like this today with this one, slowly, instead of rushing it like I did with the other one yesterday, and it became a little bit too chaotic. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But I need to move the camera and kind of get ready. So here we are. I will now do as I said, start slow, go slow, and try to use the glaze and all these things. I need some new medium, cleaner medium. Fuck. Okay, fell down. That's okay, nothing bad happened. So, notice maybe I should wear my glasses now, because yeah, that's way better. I can actually see what I'm doing. Let me see now. Add a little bit more here. And go slow now. As I said, just try to use the glaze and yeah. And this one, actually I had trouble with grabbing the paint, but now it's better. So there is some things that needs to be done. And this one is a little bit cool because it goes up like this. Then kind of goes out into a, we call it a spiss, like that. Some of the same things here. There too, there's one of these lumps, and this one is crossing over, and yeah. Just go in with the bright areas first, and then I correct small mistakes later, like this one. And just use different pieces of blue, no, yellow, I mean, sorry, not blue, yellow. And if I go deeper down here, it becomes a little bit more reddish. Also underneath here, some red. It's almost like the light is shining through and then hits in a different color underneath, which is basically what I call the Rembrandt effect. You know, it's what Rembrandt did in the Night Watch, among other places. Now, it's not going to be a perfect copy, but hopefully it will be good painting. And that is good enough for me. So Okay. Now I was in what's called deep thinking. And that's when I need to put in voiceovers, I think. Like this. And like this. And here. And there's a lot of stuff happening inside here. And this one. There's a lot of stuff happening there too. Maybe I should go for the leaves a little bit. See, there's this one. Oh, that's so annoying. Did a mistake there. So I have to go in and correct it. Maybe I should buy more of these actually. I kind of like them. And then so like this. So the mistake was then basically not doing like this and creating the leaf that way. Then it goes in here. It's better to get some control over this instead of always just, if I've done it like this, and that is what I should also do. I should practice more of this stoic painting, which is way slower. It's more detail. Because people believe that my paintings are so detailed, which, well, are they really? Not compared to many of the best photorealists. And there the detail is such a profound, like that Philip Weber or Philip something artist. He is just, whoa, with his detail. There is not much procrastination. I don't know his way to work, how he actually manages to get that deep into it. If it is some kind of, if he maybe has some kind of Asperger's or something. Very hyper focus type. Like I do too when I get started, but my problem is actually getting started. That is my worst enemy, if I can say it in that way. So yeah. So okie dokie dokie. I don't have much to say today. Maybe it's a good thing. I just have to focus so hard to get this right. Oh my god, there's a mistake there. No. Okay, I've been working for a while, and I think I may be getting somewhere, actually. Add some more color again. Some chili. There we go. So. Some more yellow. Now, I'm just going into detail now because kind of all over the place. I have done the basic work, I think, and now it's just to clean up, get the details and stuff, and then tomorrow and the day after I will do kind of these light details, more thick colors. Do some thicker today, or some details here. Now I'm running out of time, so that's a problem. I have to figure out a way to make every hour count, and I think it's a good thing in many ways, because that's funny. I never really learned from that mistake, because we human beings are, as I talked to my girlfriend today, it's like, it's so strange, both me and her. We love what we do, and the creative process is what's giving us the best feedback to both a sense of self and stuff, and the sense of meaning, adding meaning to our personal universe. And despite all this, we tend to procrastinate like crazy, And I should have a medal in procrastination. I mean, I can procrastinate. I can't even say that word. I said it once right today actually when I talked to her. So yeah, that was a little bit weird. Yeah. And I never seem to learn from it. I never seem to learn to do most of the work when I have a lot of time. I always come to that situation where I basically have to work 24 hours. I mean 16 hours a day. And in the last, because I need to sleep, I can't really paint if I haven't slept. So, well, I tried to do that too. It was actually, I could do that when I was younger, but it became harder and harder. So now I wouldn't actually function very well if I didn't sleep. I remember the time I've been painting and painting and painting for days in a row, and suddenly I'm always thinking when I'm painting. And back then I didn't make any videos also for YouTube and stuff, so I just kept on going in this flow for hours and hours on end. And I didn't really think about what I was doing. And suddenly I basically answered my own thoughts. Now I could hear, I answered my own thought, and it sounded like the answer came from outside of me. And I jumped like crazy. And because it sounded like somebody was talking to me who wasn't there. So I guess I was driving myself so hard that I basically had a near psychosis. And yeah, I should be careful, I guess. And it's also not, the results will suffer a little bit when you don't have enough time. So there's that. You kind of have to force yourself to. It's good training though. It's very good training for if you can actually do that, and if you then can actually use it to get a better schedule or more energy when you have time, and learn from it, that will be a good thing. But as I say, usually I just go back to wasting time again and basically learn nothing, So sad, really. Just think of all the paintings that could be finished if I didn't suffer from this procrastination bullshit. I mean, I would have probably painted hundreds of more paintings in a lifetime. It's sad to see all that time just go to waste. But anyway, so what am I doing now? Well, I am Try to figure out that leaf. One should look at the painting as a job. You go to work every day and you keep doing what you need to do. And I think art will just happen. When you do that. So much happening in there. So much chaos, actually. Yes. Just a lot of chaos. Here too. This is also a leaf. And then there's a yellow flower underneath there. Yeah. No, it's actually the background. Well, I just turned the background into a yellow flower. Okay, let's add in some thicker layers here. Get some more light in. Also here and here. As I say, I have to be careful with that because it can kill it. I have to kind of yeah. So you see I'm using basically brushwork now and just trying to get it to become organic. Yeah. These ones are cool. It's not exactly how they look at this point anyway. Yeah, there, pencil. Okay. The horror. As he did say in Apocalypse Now, the horror. The horror. Okay, also correct this behind here. See now. Well, my paintings can only get better until the exhibition. So the more I paint on them, that's the way I try to think now, because so I don't get kind of, I'm not panicking. So I just think, okay, might not be the best, but gonna make sure that they at least become as good as possible within the time frame I have. And I think that is a very good way to think about it. Yeah. It sure is. The orange and the yellow. Just don't want it, can't get it up to that fresh level now, I feel. Try some pure yellow. It's probably a case of me putting on way too much, and then the colors just start to kind of eliminate each other, just to there's this here. Mm-hmm. Keep on dancing around, don't forget it that you're here. So, I don't have the stamina for more now. I need to relax a little bit and kind of do more detail tomorrow. I have a couple of other paintings I need to paint on before I go. Before this night is over. So annoying here, because you see clearly that I went too far and I made this thing too thick, so I have to do something about that. Like this. This. No. No. So a little bit better, maybe. Yeah, or maybe this has to be further that way. Like this. There's a lump there. Yeah. Something like that. Maybe. And this one. And there. Yeah. The darkness binds us. Okay. Hump day. This comes in like that. And yeah. I'm getting neurotic now, just as you know. Can't quit. Cool. So yeah. So voila. Now here I have typically added too much color and then it kind of dies, kind of loses that punch, but I just have to let it dry and then just give it a little bit more of an oomph. Yeah. There's one also. Starting to see new things all the time. The sunflowers of Van Gogh is easier. I think when you go deeper into detail it becomes a serious problem. So zoom zoom zoom. Okay. So everything turns green now. Okay. Okay, I just need to stop because I feel like I'm really losing it now. I'm starting to become manic. And if you're manic, it's not really good to paint because you keep on doing, even ruining things that are good. Okay, I am now working with some of the details, and I think it's going basically in the right direction, slowly, very slowly. I didn't glaze, I let it dry, I put on another layer of Retouche varnish, but I didn't bother doing any glazing because it was already so kind of dissolved in many ways from before, so I didn't feel the necessary. Now I'm just gonna enhance things, and of course this is not it's not how, shall we say, Van Gogh would have done it, but it's how I do it, and that's probably good enough for me. And eventually the ones who buy it, there's a hole in this actually, so I'm just going to make that hole. And so see, when I make that hole here, kind of just work around it anyway. This is the third painting I work on this night. Now it's like 10 in the morning. I've been working since basically 10 last night. On and off. Of course it takes a break and I do my usual multitasking and procrastinations and stuff, but I've been at work for a very long time now and I start to feel it, but I have a job to do, so I'll just continue until I drop. I have 2 more paintings to do after this, and then I have 1 more go later this evening, and there are layers I need to do so I can put it over the oven so it kind of superficially dries, and then I can add some more color up. And as usual, our paintings are wet when I deliver them to the exhibition, so that's how it is. It's funny when I go into deep detail like this. Actually, it doesn't really look like. I should have stuck a little bit more to how it actually looks. But I didn't really think I was going to go this into detail. I was thinking that I should just do some kind of rougher Van Gogh comment thing. But then when I had done that, the first layer, the sketch, the temptation for me to just keep going just is overwhelming, so I wound up going into detail anyway. But I just gonna get it to kind of work, look like it's cheat a little bit, as they say, and do the best I can here. The time I have. And that is not much actually. Need to dampen down this. Get more like this. So it becomes a little bit more organic. I really feel that I want to start going deeper now, because my goal is kind of a mix between Rembrandt and Vermeer and Turner. It sounds like a contradiction, but you can actually add all these qualities into one painting, even if it's a more photorealistic painting or a very realistic painting. I think it should be possible to, of course it won't look then more, it will look like a very intense photorealistic painting if you also have that extreme texture and brushwork and the clarity at the same time. That would be amazing too, but it also demands a skill set that I kind of don't have. What I do have is I'm willing to do a job, okay? I'm willing. That is so strange. It always surprises me how weird it is that things that doesn't really matter at all, if you look at it into a kind of in the light of existence and the universe and everything, how little these things actually matter. They don't matter at all. There's, you know what I mean? It's like, who am I kidding? Well, I'm kidding myself, you know, because I have to give my life some meaning. And the harder something is to make, or the better it is, the better it looks, the closer I get to my intention, the more meaning I add into my life. It's like it becomes the meaning. As it is the way that is the goal, as they say. It's a cliche, but it's so true. And that is with everything when it comes to me. It's the way. It's the goal. It's not getting there. It's not ending there. It's the process, you know. And this thing that we give life, our life, so much meaning is weird in the light of reality. But hey, I have to live this life, and the best thing you can do is actually live it as if you're going to live forever. Actually, I don't like much Jordan Peterson's religious babble. He says he lives his life as if God exists. It doesn't really matter if God exists. What matters is that he lives his life as if God exists. And I can turn, for me of course there is no God because I am an atheist, but or gods or whatever, life after death, but I have to live my life despite that. It's almost like I'm living my life as if it is true, as if there is an afterlife, as if there is some intrinsic meaning in my short existence, you know, that there is some silver lining somewhere, that there is intrinsic meaning, that there is some kind of meaning to existence. I have to live basically as if there is meaning, despite knowing so clearly that it's not true. So it's absurd, actually. The whole life thing is just crazy. And that's what I think about when I'm standing here painting day after day. It's almost a survival game in a way. It's like I'm trying to create a nest or something. A nest for my... Yeah, maybe that is what we do. Maybe that is actually what men do or what women do. Our driving force is just creating that nest. So when I'm standing here, I'm like that bird who gathers a lot of sticks and flowers, and he builds this extravagant things in the middle of the ocean, I say, middle of the forest, and he does this dance and tries to get the woman. Maybe this is what I'm doing every day, you know, trying to show off, you know, trying to unconsciously, of course. It's just so simple that it's just that I'm trying to show the girls how great I am, you know. And that shouldn't even be necessary anymore, because I have a beautiful girlfriend and I don't need more of them. So, but I mean, my body doesn't know that. The ape in me doesn't know that. So, of course. And if it was true, it would be horrible that we just stopped. And I can actually feel having a girlfriend, you know, you have to focus differently, because you have what you need. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to hunt anymore. And for men, especially high testosterone men like me, it can be a driving force. So when we don't have that driving force anymore, we kind of have to pretend that we do, or kind of find different goals than procreation. We are so, it's so banal actually being human. It's so pathetic, really. Our driving force is quick food, sex, procreation, and of course everything comes down to that, because even seeking power is a way for a man to secure his legacy genetically, because if he can get power, he can get all the women. And yeah, it's paradoxically absurd. Anyway, it was one of my rants here. So it is different to be, so when you have food in your stomach, you have a nice girlfriend, you have love in your life, and things, then you need to find, that is when you actually is tested, because you have to do everything from an inner driving force, you know, and not the hunting, as I said. I have to hunt for meaning, I have to hunt for results, I have to hunt for totally different things than I used to. And I was a womanizer, god damn it. So funny, I listened to Donald Trump speaking the other day, and he said out loud, I love women. I know, it's weird. So, but his driving force is creating. It isn't power. He isn't power hungry in that narcissistic sense, and that is so sad that people misinterpret him all the time, because he's not a bad guy. Even my hero Sam Harris is a disappointment when it comes to Donald Trump. I wonder what Christopher Hitchens would have meant right now if he would actually have supported Donald Trump as president. It wouldn't actually surprise me, because he was really a free thinker. Sadly, Christopher Hitchens is dead, so we will never know. So I guess that's how it is. That's how it is. Anyway, I'll just keep painting for a while, and it was one of my rants again. Nothing about painting here. You just have to see what I'm doing, you know. The best way to learn to paint and do anything is just observe art, you know, look at art and understand brushwork and try to do your best. Don't be a pretentious ass. Avoid becoming the typical narcissistic ass, which there are so many of in art. And just create. That's my advice. Yay. I'll try to go deeper here. Black. Need to go deeper. Behind here. Here. Behind there. See now? Kind of explaining the shape with that dark leaf in the background here. And voila! I've been standing so long now that my feet are hurting on the meat, and I had to do some yoga between, or some stretching between what I do. It's fun. Okay. So. So, well, it starts to look like plant. I have one more go later this evening also, so I can actually get it to become quite nice. See, I'm tightening now up all the different things like the shadows and everything around. I'm kind of tightening it up, so as it gets tighter and tighter, I give it more and more substance, and yeah, like that shadow here. That was the totally wrong color, of course. So I'm just looking at this, and that was. Yeah. Well. Getting these shadows in here will help dramatically to explain everything. Almost like a, yeah, almost like a hand actually. That's cool, I saw that now. Yeah. And then, like this, maybe. No, like that. That's life. Yeah. I heard that Sinatra song yesterday. I got stuck in my head. That's life. So strange. He died too. They all die. Hjulström died. A woman who was a friend of my teacher. Sissel Koppastad in Stavanger. I went to drawing school. She was a nice woman. Hjulström, her name was. And I saw on Facebook now because I was starting to think about maybe trying to get in touch with my teacher, Sissel. And I wonder if I should ask Hjulström if she had contact with, and Hjulström was dead in May without me knowing. It's weird. It's almost like I envy her. It's so easy being dead, isn't it? It's like George Carlin said, The problem isn't being dead, the problem is getting dead. If I just could become dead, then all my problems, all my struggles would be over. The illusion of life, the illusion of everything. This nonsense by painting these paintings and trying to convince myself that it has any meaning at all. It's just so fucking embarrassing. Life is absurd. It's so absurd that you just have to every day remind you that maybe it's okay to live another day, because maybe something positive happens. But then again, you have to create what's positive. Usually it doesn't help to win the lottery, it doesn't help, it doesn't solve anything. Statistically, people who win the lottery is broke in a year or two, and then they are alcoholics and they are broken and they wasted all the money and all the time and everything, and it's just a mess. So no, money is not the solution. It's a tool like everything else. If I start earning money like I used to again, I'm going to use it as a tool, not as a distraction. It's funny how painting always brings me into my existence and everything. But as you know, that's how I am. I bug you with this. Just think about it. Think about life. It's absurd. It's a fluke, as he says in The First True Detective. And as the philosopher Sappho did say, and so does he in that series, McColney or whatever his name is, says humanity is a mistake. It's a fluke. Consciousness was never supposed to happen. It's just suffering and fighting our demons. And we should just let us die out. Let the light go out. So, last segment. I'm just going to add in a few small details. Just shape that. Did it become as good as I want to? Well, good question. I should have had more time, but it's nice as it is. So I just have to take with me the experience and do better next time with my time. Because it isn't skill that is a problem, it is actually time. So, and that's good to know. Just going to add in some points of light and enhance it a little bit. The touch up, as I call it. The touch up. So, let me see now. There, yeah. Also, just doing some nice work with some lines and kind of enhance some things that may make it a little bit more dynamic. It isn't that much when you get to this point. It isn't that much you actually need to do for it to get some more punch to it. That's good. See now. That's actually the wrong color. Okay, here, and I think I need a little bit enhance it a little bit on the edge here. Down here, scratching my ear. Exactly there. Maybe I should use some cadmium yellow instead. Might be better. This one. This. 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 So, now that what's actually made it a little tiny bit better. There's a little light point down there, which is very important. The small things, it's so important. It's just the things that just here. Just that little tiny spotlight there. It kind of explains how it sits. And this little point of light, same thing here. There's a little point there. These small things explains the glass, which is very important, you know. Make it feel more real, simply. Become so silent when I work with details like this. It's incredible. My head just goes numb. problem is of course that I see more and more things that I could have done in a different way, or more and more things, but you know, has to stop some place, so. That. So. See now. Like this. And this one comes down here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should go a little bit closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. We do like this. Zoom. Oh, no. Well, same shit really. Does it look like it? Yeah, I think it does look like it. That's so bad. Let's see. So, see that becomes more rational. Like this. Okay. Okay. See now. I kind of put in some strategic brushwork. I guess here. So this is bad. This one too. Oh, if I just had more time, I could have made this so amazing. So from now on, I will stop wasting time when I have time and do my fucking job. It could have been so beautiful. Yeah. Just adding some little bit there. Strengthen that a little bit. Also, I can't put the varnish on it now or either. So it will kind of be kept a little bit in the dark. So it's kind of, you can just keep on banging on forever because there's so many things that you can adjust and kind of with the different types of warmth and everything. There's so many things you can do, and it's kind of almost kind of depressing. But you know, at some point we just have to throw in the towel, accept, do some acceptance. Yeah. Good thing is that when I do paint like this and I do rush it and I do fight against time, I have to laser focus my my eyes and stuff. So it has this silver lining that I'm getting so much better. As I said yesterday, it's like when a guy runs the marathon, he has to train like crazy to get to that shape. When he has gotten there and is finished, he has become so much better shape. And the same thing is here, actually. So, all in all, pressure can be a very good thing. Like this, like that. Yeah. Presto. Enough. So this one goes down here. So this is what's called hyperfocus, manic focus, I would say. And yeah, that's good. Sans. God, my feet is hurting. I've been standing so long. Yeah, shit. When I do stuff like that, and I've learned that now, I will never be a Van Gogh type of impressionist, and it is better for me to embrace what I am doing or trying to do or whatever, instead of thinking that I can solve these things easily. Because it doesn't materialize. I will always, at some point, become manic, and I will try desperately to fix everything and get it to become better and better and better, not be able to stop. I can't stand feeling that there's something wrong. And small things like this, small things that I feel is so important for the whole thing, and when it's not really there, I just feel shame, and that's the worst thing. I think it's horrible when you don't live up to your own expectations. It's not a way to live. The unconsidered life is not worth living, as Socrates said before he chose to drink the poison, the Kool-Aid. So, welcome to the end of the video. Here is how it turned out, and I think it became pretty nice. I could easily had some more time on it and stuff, but you never know. If it doesn't get sold, I get it back and I can continue, or I just make a new one. It depends what you want, you know, if you want to go totally photorealistic. I'm not a photorealist because I use a lot of thick colors and stuff, and photorealists don't do that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next video or on Patreon. Or if you want to support me, please buy me a coffee, and really important, thumbs up, comments, and share with your friends. Okay?